Hey guys, welcome back to my channel. My name is Tatiana. I am the owner of the Stationary Muse and a business coach and mentor for women wanting to start their very own stationery businesses. Welcome back to my channel. I am really excited for today's topic because we are going to be diving into something that is super exciting. It's all about planner season, you guys, and especially if you have been wanting to create your very own planner to sell, or maybe you just want it for yourself, or whatever the case is, this is definitely going to be a great video for you to watch. I'm going to be giving you some tips on some of the first things that you really need to start thinking about long before you design the planner, long before you're holding it in your hand, but some of the logistics behind all of it. So stay tuned. Last year, I actually shared a very in-depth part of my personal journey when I launched my Live, Love, Inspire business planner for the very first time, and I shared the entire process with you guys right here. It was really fun. I got a lot of just amazing feedback from it. I was able to help so many people through that experience, and it's really fun to just look back at that and see. And so now here we are. This is going to be the third run of the planner technically, but it'll be the second year that I'm doing it. The Live, Love, Inspire business planner is coming back, and so if you are a user of the planner, make sure you also stay tuned because there's going to be tons of sneak peeks and things coming up over the next several weeks as I lead up to the launch, which is going to be happening on October 8th, y'all. Okay, so you want to create your very own planner. I'm excited for you. First of all, I think it's very exciting, and I have to just say that I think sometimes there are so many people out there that will always try to knock paper planners, and they'll try to act like stationery is dead, paper products are dead, no one uses it. But the fact is, this business, this industry is booming, and there are tons of people out there that are needing this exact tool that you are wanting to create. So never ever think that, you know, what you are getting ready to create is outdated or it's something that is not needed. It is actually in demand, and it's something that is constantly being requested all the time. New businesses are coming on the scene all of the time to create it. And the biggest thing that I really want to ask you, and kind of the first point of this whole thing, is really, who is it that you want to serve with this planner? So very similarly to when you're starting your business, you want to think about who is this person that's going to be using this product, this planner. And so for me, when I had to sit down and really think about the Live, Love, Inspire business planner, I knew that this was going to be for someone who was, of course, wanting to become an entrepreneur. They were wanting to get started. They wanted to have something that they could regularly check in with to make sure that they had everything they needed from week to week in order to set themselves up for success, for launching, for creating their new products, for just keeping organized with orders and posts and social media and financial information and different things like that. And so I knew I wanted it to kind of be a one-stop shop place that also allowed for them to dream big in this planner and to plan out things and to sometimes just let out their thoughts of how the week went. And so all of that ended up being incorporated into my planner. And so I really ask you the same question: who is the person that you're wanting to serve? And even deeper, how are you going to do that through the pages of your planner? So take a moment to really ask yourself that question. Ask yourself, okay, this person that's going to be using this, what are some things that are kind of like an absolute necessity that need to be in this planner? Is this planner going to be dated? Does this person prefer for it to be undated? Those are really big questions you want to answer. You also want to ask yourself, okay, how do I want my weekly to be set up? Will it be weekly? Will it be daily? Will it have any type of formal format to it? Will it be more journal style? Like, there's so many different ways and routes and things that you can do with this. So you really want to ask yourself who is going to be using it and how can they best get the most out of it through those pages. And another thing I think that's really important about this particular point as well is that it's really easy to create just a basic planner. And I mean basic just meaning like, okay, it's got like a monthly spread in there. It's got a little weekly thing with Monday through Sunday, or, you know, whatever you decide to do for how you order your days of the week. It's really easy to do that, but when you think beyond the basics and you think of like, okay, what are some really crucial things that this person would need? If you're thinking like, okay, I want to make a planner for moms. Okay, what does this mom need to be set up for success for each week in this planner? That when she sits down, everything is right there for her. She doesn't have to go searching for other things that she can use. Everything is right in one place for her. If you're trying to serve someone in a specific industry of some sort, what are the things that they will be looking for in that planner beyond just the basics? We know there will be some type of calendar. We know there will be somewhere for them to write down things Monday through Sunday and things like that. But what are those little details that's really going to let this person know like, oh, okay, this is the planner for me. This is what I've been looking for. These are all of the things right here for me in one place. And that's really what gives you a competitive edge as well, because If you have just a very basic planner, I mean, of course that could do well as well, but when you are really clear on who is going to be using it and you have those specific details that they know is just for them, that is really where you're going to see the success with the overall use of the planner, which is very important, as well as just the excitement around it and the people that are going to be interested. So definitely take a moment to think about this. Don't breeze over this part. It's really important. Okay, so another big thing, I always get questions about this as well, is do you want to make this planner by hand or do you want to get it made by someone else, aka manufactured? And so it can look very different for a lot of people. There's a lot of different ways you can go with this. So me personally, for my planner, this planner is handmade. This is made here in my home, but I do also work with a company here locally that prints the inside pages for me. So then that way, I'm able to still enjoy the process of creating the bulk amount of planners that I get ready to ship out, but it also allows for me to still have some pieces that someone else can do to just kind of make it a little bit easier for me. Because one thing that I've learned in just the last 5 years of having a business that does have a variety of handmade products is that you want to set yourself up for success. So anywhere that you can figure out a way to make something easier, whether that's starting to do things earlier, if that's working with someone else that can do a part of the process for you, or whatever the case may be, I think that that only makes it more enjoyable for you and not as overwhelming. So for me, again, it's handmade. I make the hard covers here, I bind it, I've designed the planner and all of that stuff, but the company prints and then they cut the pages down to size for me, and that is such a big help. But if you are the type of person where you're like, okay, that sounds great and all, but I'm not really trying to sit down and do no handmade nothing, I don't have the time for that, which I completely get how you feel. I have so many clients that are the same way. There are a lot of other avenues for you. You can definitely work with a company that can create the exact planner you're looking for just for you. And I highly suggest even more so if you can find a company that is local to you that does this service. I think it's even better, just because you can have a more hands-on experience. You can probably get a quicker turnaround. You won't have to get it shipped because you can just drive and go get it. And there's a lot of benefits to doing that. But the biggest thing is to kind of figure out, do I have the time to hand make this? Do I have the desire to hand make this? And if the answer is no to either of those questions, then start to do the research process of figuring out, okay, where can I get this thing made at? There are some companies here in the US. There's tons as well overseas, especially like on Alibaba, that you can check out as well. Make sure if you are interested, I do have a guide down below. It's called the Creatives Toolbox, and there is a link to a lot of different companies that I use, as well as some that I'm aware of that I know that do it, and so that we're not wasting our whole video talking about all of the different companies, but that is definitely in that guide. But the biggest thing you want to do is reach out to these companies, get quotes, figure out, okay, how much is it going to be for me to get this done? Even if you don't necessarily know all of the specs of your planner, just get a range of kind of what they're charging. Start to get a ballpark idea, because right now as I'm filming this video, we are fully in planner season. And so if you are deciding that you want to make a planner, or even if you're watching this a couple years from now, whatever the case may be, if you are trying to launch a planner for the new year, you really want to make sure that you are launching it within the beginning to the middle of Q4, quarter four. This is when people are deciding what they want to do, especially people in the planner community. They know what they want and they are ready to start making some buying decisions. And so you want to make sure your planner can be in the running as an option for them. And so this is the time right now. You're kind of in the final countdown, as I would say, to really start doing the research to figure out, okay, can I make this thing happen for the new year coming up? Should I wait until maybe like a mid-year release or something like that? This is the time to start figuring that out. So getting those numbers from people, getting some rough estimates and quotes, starting to price out the equipment and things that you might need if you're going to do it handmade. All of this is very crucial right now to start figuring out what is it going to look like. And then that really leads me into really coming up with a loose launch date. So when you've decided that you are ready to do it handmade, manufactured, whichever route you go, hopefully you'll kind of know roughly about the timeline that this thing will take. And especially if you are going to be working with another company, you want to ask them, hey, what is going to be the timeline for something like this? Let them know you're still in the creative process of it, but you're really wanting to get an idea of how long does it usually take for them to work with other people to get something like this rolled out, especially because it's important to know this because, again, this is planner season. So you want to have enough time to get this thing created. It's not too late, but you definitely want to make sure that you get all of the details up front and as quickly as possible. So once you kind of have an idea of the timeline, that can give you a rough idea of when you want to launch. And to me, I think to get the most bang for your buck, the most just bang for your time that you're putting into this, is to try to launch before the holiday season starts. So then that way you can also take advantage of all of the people that are going to be shopping for Black Friday and just around the holidays and getting gifts for people, and just the idea of like vision boards and getting ready to start the new year and wanting to have something to get organized. That is prime time to have your planner readily available. Even if it's a pre-order, maybe you don't have the physical thing ready to ship out right when they purchase it, which is a whole nother topic, but you just basically want to have your planner somewhat ready for people to see that it is an option for them to purchase before the holiday season. And I think that really sets you up for success. Last year I launched my planner at the end of September. This year I'm launching it within the first week of October. So you really just want to kind of play around with some dates. I know sometimes I'll work with people and they'll want to do it around their birthday. Maybe you have a special date that you love and you think is really important. Maybe like for me, I love to launch on Fridays, so I always look at a Friday. Whatever the case is for you, you want to figure out a loose date. And even if that date might change just as the timeline starts to go on, maybe there's a delay in shipping of getting your things to you, you really just want to know like, okay, when can I get my first sample created? And that will really allow for you to figure out, okay, what is going to be this launch date? And from there, I have tons of videos on what to actually do when it's time to launch. So I highly suggest checking those out to just get some ideas of like, well, what do I talk about? What do I say? How long should my launch be? And different things like that, because it's really important to build up the momentum to that date. And you don't want to do it too soon, especially if you don't have an audience just yet. You want to take some time to start to grow your audience. And right now is the crucial time to do that. You can bring people along the scenes as you are in the creation process and really start to just build some trust with your audience and start to get some connections going with them. This is the crucial time to do that so that you can really set yourself up for an amazing launch come the time when you're ready to launch it. Another thing I wanted to mention quickly also, if you are interested in the hardcover process of like this particular planner, I do actually have a masterclass. It's a self-guided videos already ready to go for you process. You can literally hit the ground running right now if you're ready to learn how to create your very own hardcover planner. That entire process is in my Handmade Planner Masterclass. You can click the link down below in the description to sign up for that course if you want to do that. But it's a really good one because it not only will give you the process of the hardcover, how to create that, how to bind it, it'll also give you an Adobe InDesign 101 so that you can kind of get an inside look to the program that I use to design the pages for my planner, and a lot of the products in my shop I use it for. So check that out if you're interested. I just wanted to make sure I mentioned that because again, the time is ticking, and so I know you're probably like, okay, I need to get going, I need to know what I'm doing, and so that will be something where you can get started right away. And so once you have your date, then you'll be able to start figuring out like, okay, what are the investments and things that I need to make? Do I need to purchase this set of equipment? Do I need to get this paper? Do I need to put down this deposit to get the prints done, or whatever it might be? You can start to kind of create a timeline of when you need to have investments and things made by, because that is a big part of really running any business, but especially when you're getting into product-based and planners and stationery and things like that, there are some upfront costs and things you're gonna have to pay in order to get stuff. And you wanna make sure that you do it as quickly as you can with a limited timeline, especially if you're working with, now if you're watching this and it's kind of like maybe February or March and you're wanting to launch for the next year, you have some time to work with, and so it's not as urgent. But if you are trying to do it within the next few months so that you can be ready for the year that's getting ready to come up, then this is my charge to you, to make sure that you start getting all your ducks in a row now. What are your investments? Speaking of investments, I do have a Handmade Planner Masterclass that is available. So if you want to learn the process of how I create this hardcover planner, how I design the pages on the inside using Adobe InDesign, if that is of interest to you, make sure you click the link down below to learn more about that masterclass. It is self-guided, all of the videos and everything ready to go so you can hit the ground running. You'll have your tools and equipment list, everything you need if that's the style you're going for. But there are so many other types of planners out there. This is not the only kind, and so it's just important to start doing your research, start getting on Amazon, getting on Alibaba, Googling away, whatever you need to do to start figuring out all of the equipment and things that you need so you can start getting those shipments in. And then you know that your loose launch date can start turning into your actual launch date, because you'll start to get a time frame of like, okay, all my stuff is going to be in at this time. Now I have my sample. You can start getting all your pictures and things taken, and then really start rolling it out so that you'll be ready to go for your launch date. And then the last piece of advice I wanted to give you guys in this is that it's really important to believe in yourself. Last year when I launched my planner, I had a lot of doubt. There were many times I wanted to talk myself out of doing it, mainly because I had already attempted to launch a planner. I want to say it was like 2 years before that, and it did not go very well just because I really did not launch it properly. I didn't even really give myself a chance. I didn't talk about it a ton. I waited till the last minute. Like, there were just a lot of things that I did that were just absolutely a no-no. And so I had that in the back of my head, and also just my inner critic was just kind of telling me like, girl, you don't really know what you're doing. You've never really done anything like this before. Nobody's going to be interested. Who's really looking for a business planner? All of these things were kind of at the top of my head. And so I had to really remove all of those thoughts and really think about, okay, this is placed on my heart. It's there for a reason. This is something that I've been dying to create. I've been talking about it for the last few years now. And I said that this was something I was going to do. And so for that reason, I'm going to stick to it. And so I really just want to say to you, you have to believe in yourself through this process. There's going to be many times that you're going to want to give up as you hear maybe an outrageous quote about, like how much it might cost to get something made from someone. That might be enough to deter some people, but no, you keep going. I remember when I thought I was going to be getting my planner made overseas, and I had gotten at that point, probably 5 to 10 different quotes from companies. And I had a very specific look at the time that I was going in my mind. And so when I started to notice that the quantities, the minimum order quantities were getting to be kind of high. And I also started to notice that it was an investment. It was going to be a lot of space taking up my house. So I had all that inventory, and I just started to get overwhelmed. But I really went back to the drawing board, and I'm like, okay, I have the ability to do handmade items. This is something that I've been doing since I started my business. It's not necessarily the most ideal situation, but I know that I can do it, and I know that I can create it quality enough to where people will be more than pleased. And so for that, I took it and ran with it, and I ended up creating the planner that you guys see here, and it was not initially what I wanted to do, but I didn't allow that to stop me, because I know eventually down the line, maybe I will be able to create it with that particular look. But there's just so many different things that go into it. And then even when I realized how I wanted to personalize the planner, I knew that that would not be an option for me if I decided to go with the option I was looking into of working with someone overseas, because I would have to get a minimum of 300 or a minimum of 500. And at that point, I can't really customize those, right? So there's a lot of factors and things to think about. Always go back to the drawing board. Always think about, who are you serving? What is the point of this planner? And maybe it may not be exactly every single detail that you wanted it to have this first round or this second round or this third round, but just know that you're working up to that. And the more that you get familiar with this process, the more that you put it out there, the more that you build your audience up, you will get the funds and the support and just the know-how of how to then upgrade and do different things. And so like this year, this planner has some really exciting changes that are coming. I also have, I basically have some different versions of stuff that I'm not gonna really talk too much about right now, because it's all gonna be coming in the coming weeks. But just know that last year I had a lot of really big ideas, but I decided to keep it simple, and I did this one kind of planner. I kept it very to the point. Then I did my second run, and I added A5 as a second option for sizes because I wanted to give some variety. And so now this time there's going to be a little bit more that I'm going to be sprinkling on there, okay? So it's always just with time. You don't have to do everything right now. Everything doesn't have to be perfect. Every detail, every specific little nuance and all these things, they don't have to be perfect. The part that's going to make it perfect is that you're doing it to begin with, that you are showing up and that you are doing it. And so I just wanted to put that out there. Believe in yourself, believe in this dream, believe that you can launch this thing and make it happen. Comment down below, what type of planner are you planning to launch for next year? And I'm rooting for you. I'm so excited for you. Make sure you guys check out all of the links and things that I mentioned down below if you're needing any additional help. And I will see you guys in the next video. Bye.